Okay, is it working? Are we live? I think it's live and I think we're working. Hi everyone. I, if I am live, am Daniel Mangena and I am super duper ecstatically excited to be here with you today for my first show here on the channel. So, first and foremost, for you crazy cats who have no idea who I am, my name is Daniel Mangena. I'm a multiple best-selling author. I have a podcast called Do It With Dan. I've been featured in the Wall Street Journal as a master of success, and I bloody love empowering people to live more abundant, joyful, purpose driven lives. And for the next 3 months, I'm going to be here at the same time every week, sharing some amazing tips, tricks, hacks, tools, strategies, and empowerment to get you guys living more abundant, joyful, purpose driven lives. I have a track record of supporting people doing as much as seven figures in very short periods of time in terms of financial abundance. But that's not really my passion. It's not my passion at all. My passion is overall abundance in every form. So I don't want you to think that this is just me here just talking about you having moolah. It's one of the things that we're going to be talking about. But what's most important to me is that you have the power to create anything that you want. So I want you guys showing up in your lives after the time that we spent together, just kicking the butt out of life. That's what I want. So a very happy morning, Saturday morning, to the few people coming from Australia. For the rest of the world, happy Friday evening. Time is an interesting construct, isn't it? Right. So, what format is this going to take? Well, I'm going to share with you guys a story generally, um, something that you can learn from that story. I also have some pretty badass visualizations that I put out. I'm going to give you guys a gift of one of them to download at the end of today. It's a free one. You're not going to pay for it. It's a gift, I promise. And it's also not going to start trying to sell you something either. It's just a gift. So I'm excited to share that with you. Um, and today I'm going to be talking about navigating the divine matrix. It's some snippets from a talk that I gave at the East West bookstore, I think last year, could be the year before. In this crazy new world, what year is it? Who knows? Who cares? Right. So let me give a bit of insight into me. I came into this world of crazy spirituality and positivity and uplifting and personal development about 20 years ago. Um, and yes, I am as young as I look. And over that time, I've spent many years crafting something that I call Beyond Intention. Um, it's the topic of my main best-selling book, Stepping Beyond Intention. And what that really invites us to consider is that through the power of choice, we can deliberately manifest a life that we desire. Through the power of choice, we can deliberately manifest a life we desire. That's the amount of financial abundance we've got. That is in relation to the relationships that we have, the health, whether we're purposeful, have meaning, all of that crazy good stuff. And when we apply that choice to a specific goal, a specific intention, a specific outcome that we want to move towards, what can end up happening is we can experience a level of alignment that allows us to have a life full of the embodiment of that experience. And when we do that consistently, our life consistently shows up as what we want. There are a few things that underline that. One of them is the idea that the universe is abundant and infinite in its possibilities and potentials. And the other is that we as human beings are not just physical bodies, but we're also not just a mental state, and we're also not just an energetic body. One of my catchphrases is stop meditating. Yes, that's right. The crazy guy came in a spirituality group and said, stop meditating. Because I'm not saying stop meditating full stop, as funny as that sounds. What I'm saying is allow your meditation, your spiritual practice, to be part of an overall framework. Because you can meditate for 10 hours, but if you get up from that 10-hour meditation and go back to thinking limiting beliefs, or you go back to talking yourself down, you go back to sitting on the couch doing nothing but eating Cheetos and watching Netflix, the likelihood that you're going to find yourself in a reality that matches something expansive is very, very low, really. So, but when we take a powerful spiritual practice, we take a powerful mental practice of limiting beliefs being dashed away and certainty being inserted into our experience, and taking actions that align with those outcomes that we'd like to move towards, we will never have anything other than success. And that's a big part of what I teach. So over the next few months that I'm here with you guys, we're going to be talking about leveling up your spiritual practice so that it has more efficacy. So you're not one of those people that have been meditating for years and not getting results. I love working with people in spiritual practice and empowering them to actually get results. I freaking love that. We're going to be looking at powerful ways to completely transcend the world of limiting beliefs. Not removing limiting beliefs, not getting rid of them, transcending them, rendering them bloody useless. That's what we're going to be doing. And then we're also going to be looking at how to experience life from a state of true flow. Having a life that just grooves, just a groovy life. I want you guys to have groovy lives, and I will be giving you some tips, some tricks, some hacks, and some strategies for you to be able to do that. So, how does that sound? Does that sound like fun? Does it sound like fun? I'd like to just honor Darls, Claire, Trish, and anyone else joining us live. I'm going to do my best to engage with you guys. Perhaps we're going to have space and time for some Q&A and some questions. So if you do have questions, feel free to leave them there in the comments. If you are watching this on a replay, it would mean the world to me if you let me know where you're watching it from, what you're getting from this, and keep the conversation going on in the comments. I'm going to come back and check in on those and make sure that I serve you guys as much as possible. Okay, so let's go back to what we're talking about today. Navigating the divine matrix. First of all, I want to break those phrases down. Navigating, aka making our way through. Divine matrix, what does this crazy guy mean? What I love about everything is that there are so many different ways to say the same thing. Just this week, I was certified to coach in a modality called reality transurfing. Really, really great modality. It's just been doing amazing, wonderful things. And maybe we'll talk about that over some time too. But what I found when I was doing this certification this week is that most of the items that are spoken of in this modality, I speak about with different languaging. Most of the things that we're speaking about in this modality, I speak about using different languaging. Very, very interesting that sometimes we shut ourselves off from the potential power of something because the languaging doesn't resonate with us. I remember I coached a woman who had the potential for an amazing coaching business, and yet she wasn't able to step into resonance with the items that she'd been given on how to be successful. And when we just changed the words, changed the names of things, she was able to be a massive success. She's done a launch and made a very healthy 5 figures on the back of her launch, coming from not having much success, not because she didn't have a great model, not because she's not a badass coach, but she is, but because the wording didn't match. The divine matrix, well, could be anything you bloody want it to be. You can call it the universe. You can call it the bosom of God. You can call it the source of the divine, source energy. You might call it the field of infinite possibilities. You might call it the space of variations, the alternative space. What you call it isn't as important as how you relate to it. So when I'm talking about navigating the divine matrix, what I'm talking about is how we consciously and deliberately have an experience going through this bloody thing we call life. That's it. That's all it is. It's not some overly complicated quadratic mathematic equation. It's simply having a model for going through this thing we call life. And I'm going to be spending the next few months giving you my take. And you may agree with it, you may not. But if you give it a try, you may have some of the results that the people that I've been working with over the last few years have been getting too. So without further ado, it would mean the world to me if everyone that's watching live could go ahead and pop in the comments one thing that you are working on right now. It could be health, it could be a relationship, it could be a business, it could be something to do with children. It doesn't matter what it is. Put that in the comments, and that's going to empower me to serve you better by directing this conversation into the challenges that you guys are facing, so that I can deliver as much value as possible and give you guys some real tools for you to make a change in your life. Okay? Everyone agree with that? Thank you. So, I've said this before, but without further ado, let's get on with it. So, what is the divine matrix? What is the quantum field? What is the space of variations, the alternative space, source energy? Well, if we get down to it, mostly what we're talking about is just everything. Because you can't take away from everything. You can't add to everything. Everything just is. One of the things I love to do with this kind of stuff, this kind of information, is drop all the pompous, inflated, flatulently unnecessary lingo and lexicon that we use to make things sound more complicated than they are. The truth is that the universe is very simple. 1 + 1 will always equal 2 in the universe. But we as humans, what do? We throw in quadratic equations and algebra and derivatives and differentials. 1 + 1 must be 1 + 1 times 10 divided by 2 plus 7 times 0 plus 2. Instead of just saying 1 + 1 equals 2. Everything can be simple. I'm not saying easy. I'm saying simple. So coming to a space of simplicity, coming to a space of pulling away all the jargon, what is the divine matrix? It's everything. I don't want to teach you guys to suck eggs here, but I want to kind of make sure that I'm coming at a place that anybody watching this can start to get some transformation and can't start to have some foundationary substance to work with. So you, me, this microphone, these headphones, this computer, this t-shirt, these crystals, this ring, all the same thing. Energy. And I'm not talking in a spooky woo-woo sense. I'm talking actually energy. The entire universe is just energy. Just energy. But this entire universe of energy is constantly moving from form to non-form and back to form again. It's constantly moving in and out of physical shape and manifestation, and constantly being observed by each and every one of us as our world, as our reality. So when we're looking at the divine matrix, what we're looking at is the totality, the sum totality of all of that energy, potentials realized and unrealized, experiences witnessed and unwitnessed, things known and unknown. It's absolutely everything. This web of energy, this web of stuff. And what we're doing in this thing that we call life, moving through these different potentials, these different scenes, these different snapshots of reality, and calling it a journey through time. We'll talk about that another day. I don't really want to get into that too much today. So when we're navigating the divine matrix, what we're doing is experiencing a combination of different experiences, a combination of connections with people, places, and things, a combination of choices, the results of choices that we've made being made manifest in what we call our life and what we call our world. And for many of us, we have these experiences in what we call chance. We have these experiences saying, this happened to me, that happened to me. This person's the president, that person's the president. There's that restriction, that lockdown, or there's that benefit, or there's this and that. And we are experiencing life through the lens of stuff happening to us. For some, it's stuff happening for us, but we're looking at it in the context of everything happening out there. But what I'm going to be endeavoring to have you guys doing by the end of our time together over the next few months, I'm here every week for those of you who didn't hear me before, It's having a very different outlook. It's having an outlook that says, of these infinite potentials, these are the ones I select. And here and now, I set the intention to deliberately create and manifest a journey that involves those experiences. And my heartfelt intention is those experiences for you guys will be more abundant, more joyful, purpose-driven lives. Because abundance is our true nature. Nature itself is abundant. Because joy, the uplifting, expansive state of joy, is a natural thing for us to experience. It's not natural for us to be in a state of despair. And we have a frigging God-given right to experience the joy of life and all it has to offer, and to do so in a way that fills us with meaning and allows us to joyfully, expansively step into our place as an expression of source energy in physical flesh, adding to the overall uplift and expansion of humanity. Now, there may be some places where I can't have that conversation, but I think that I'm speaking to people right now that truly accept that this can be their experience, that I'm speaking to people right now who truly own that it can be their experience, that I'm talking to people right now who are ready to take on the beauty of having that as their experience. And that's what I'm going to be spending time with you guys doing. So without further ado, going back to this divine matrix stuff, your life, guys, your life is in essence a series of choices that you've made and experienced. Made and experienced. Witnessed, responded to, made and experienced. How can I say that? It's been scientifically demonstrated that time is an illusion, and I doubt I'm speaking to a group of people that have never heard that before. Time is essentially a construct that we have effectively agreed to in order to have some framework and structure to our reality. And that framework and structure is in place so that we can have an abundant, joyful experience. Now, I'm not saying that there won't be contrast, and that's perhaps something for us to talk about another day. And by the way, as I go on this journey with you guys, I would love to hear from you on what's working for you, what's not, what you'd like me to expand on, what you'd like me to add to, because as I said, I'm here to serve you guys and empower you to live more abundant, joyful, purpose-driven lives. Okay, so I'm not saying that there's not going to be contrast. But what I'm saying is that when we step into the fullness of our power to experience life on our terms, the contrast that pops up in our experience, we can be fully resourced to witness from a place of intrigue and playful curiosity. Loss can be a win. Pain can be an advantage. Everything can add to our experience. Am I saying there won't be sadness, that there won't be pain? No, I'm saying that you can be resourced to handle them in grace and ease. That's my intention for you. So we've got this construct of time, and thank you guys for letting me know that I'm speaking in the right place. Really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I appreciate you guys commenting. It's really uplifting. Thank you. So we've got this construct of time, and as we move through this construct of time, we have these experiences. We continue to make other choices. We continue to have other experiences. We feed back on those experiences. We feed into those experiences. We engage with other people on this journey. We disengage. We fall in love. We fall out of love. We have kids or we don't. We go to work or we have a business. And all of this stuff happens in this thing that we call life. And as we go through this journey, we are constantly choosing the next step in the journey. But, and here is the piece that catches most of us out, the next step in the journey generally are not being chosen consciously. We're generally speaking not consciously choosing the next step in the journey. We are generally speaking just kind of going along for the ride. Bruce Lipton, very clever guy. Had the chance to see him in Mexico City a couple of years ago. Very bloody clever guy. He did some research, crunched some numbers, and worked out that 95% of the time we are running on the dictates of our unconscious mind. 95% of the time. So if we put this into the context of a day, 24 hours, we're sleeping for 7 or 8 hours, 16 hours. So 1.6 hours divided by 10. So maybe 80 minutes of the day, something like that. An hour and a half, maybe an hour and a half out of your day, if you're lucky, is spent consciously aware of what's going on. And that's probably not in a consistent, probably not a consistent thing either. You're 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. The rest of the time you're running unconsciously in your programs. You get up in the morning, you have your hot drink if that's what you do, and you have some breakfast if that's what you do. You have a shower if that's what you do. You feed the kids if that's what you have. You get in the car if that's how you travel, and then you go to work. You do the work thing. You have lunch, maybe a sandwich. You come home. You look at your life and you're like, oh God, this is what I want. And I know this to be the case because I've been coaching people and getting out of that rat race experience for a very long time now. Actually, I just want to, in case you watch this, Sandy, celebrating you for getting financial freedom from your job in 6 weeks. You're badass. That's a shout out for Sandy. And if you're not watching this, Sandy, shame on you. You should be watching this. So, we go through this and we have this experience of this unconscious experience. Little do we know that at any point during that 80 minutes, 10 minutes, 9 hours or whatever that we're unconscious, we had the capacity to step into consciousness. We had the gift available for us to step into consciousness. And if we did that, we'd be able to start affecting some changes in our life. Because how many people, if you're honest with yourself, and feel free to post this in the comments if you're ready to step up and do that, but how many of us are actually completely happy with our life experience? Because I can't put my hand up. How many of you can do that? So you're completely happy with your life experience. You're getting as much sex as you want. You're having as much lovely food as you want, as many holidays as you want, sex with the person you want to be having it with, going to a job that you want to be having a job or running the business, and you've got the health that you want. There's normally something that we want to work on. That's expansion. It's wanting something that we want to work on. But the capacity to step into that newness doesn't mean that we're going to actually step into that newness. The desire for that newness does not equate naturally into us experiencing that newness. It requires us changing the program. I don't remember which one of those clever writers it was that said that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And yet it's been scientifically demonstrated we're spending 95% of our day doing exactly the same thing over and over again, then being upset that we're not having the life that we want. Is that working out for you? Probably not. But then the question becomes, looking at this divine matrix thing, looking at this time thing that I've been talking about, looking at this choice stuff, how do these pieces come together and facilitate us actually creating something different? And again, over the next few months that I'm spending time with you here, same time, every week, we're going to be empowering you to start creating some change. I'm going to be giving you guys some homework. We're going to be doing some visualization. In a minute, I'm going to take you through a visualization exercise to start opening up to something different. But it's going to require you doing something different, because we can't do the same thing over and over again and get a different result. But the beauty is we can't do something different and get the same result. And the powerful thing is it doesn't need to be a big change to get a big change. It doesn't need to be a big change to get a big change. Every single change that we make, if held to and sustained, will lead to more change going forward. There's a concept that I speak about and teach about called microshifts. And it tends to be one of those concepts that really has an effective change in people's lives. It's making a consistent series of baby steps in the direction of what we desire. I did some work with Tony Robbins. Smart guy, pretty cool, big hands. And one of the examples that he gives, and I love it, and I get the cities wrong, but that's not important. The idea is what's important. If a plane takes off from London, heading to Buenos Aires, down there in Argentina, so London here, Buenos Aires down here. Ooh, where am I? If it's only 2 degrees off, 2 degrees is like that. That plane taking off in London no longer ends up in Buenos Aires, it ends up in New York. The exact cities aren't important. What's important is that if you are just this much off, you don't get to the same place. But the beauty of that is, if you make this much of a difference and maintain that difference, you don't have to stay in the same place. You don't have to have the same life. You don't have to have the same experience. You don't have to be unhealthy. You don't have to be in relationships that don't serve you. You don't have to be in poverty and lack. You can have joy, you can have love, you can have health, you can have it all. And it only requires you making a choice that equates to a consistent shift of even just this much, 2 degrees. My homework for you for this week, which I'm going to give you now, and Kathy, it's micro shift. I'll pop it here. Micro shift. My challenge for you is to identify one small thing that you could do differently this week. What do I mean by that? Maybe you're going to get up 5 minutes earlier, not an hour earlier. I'm not telling you to do that. Get up 5 minutes earlier. Maybe you're going to take a different route to drive to work this week or to the store. Maybe you're going to have 1 spoon of sugar in your tea or coffee instead of 2. Maybe you're going to watch an hour less Netflix this week. Maybe you're going to read a couple of pages of a book every day. Maybe you're going to pick up a book full stop. Maybe you're going to tell your partner that you love them more often and make that the one shift that you make. One shift consistently made must equate to a shift in your life, because we can't do things differently and get the same result. That's just not how the universe works. And much as we would like to think that we're that important, the rules of the universe have not changed for any one of us. The rules of the universe have not changed just because it's a bit tricky for us to follow them. That's just not the way it works. Sorry to break it to you. So I'd like you this week, guys, this is your homework. And please do let me know what's going on with your homework. Come back to the comments of this video. Pop in the comments how you got on. I'd love to hear from you as well. You can connect with me on social media, Dreamer CEO. You can also head to my website, dreamwithdan.com, and contact me and the team and let us know how you're getting on. I'd love to hear from you. So we're going to make that one small shift of changing one thing. I don't want it to be big, guys. If at any point it feels too big, or you're feeling overwhelmed, or you're feeling pressure, or it feels like a lot of stuff, stop. That's not the intention of this exercise. The intention is for you to make one small step, one small shift, one small micro shift that you can sustain. Reason being, that small shift will change your experience. Will change it, because the experience that you have right now is because of the sum total of what you've been bringing into this experience up until now. And when you start changing the substance of those experiences, then the results of that have to change too. That's my gift to you. So, nobody's told me what they're working on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the divine matrix around financial abundance. It's my strong suit. It's what I've got a lot of success with people on. Guys, this is your time. Even after this has run, if you're watching this on the replay, please do engage in the comments. Let me know what's going on with you. I want to hear from you guys. What's going to happen is I'm going to be using your comments to make sure that this time I'm spending with you every week is serving you. I'm not here to tickle my belly for my own benefits. If there's a benefit to tickling your belly, let me check. It's pretty cool, but that's not what I'm here to do. I want to serve you guys. I want to give you guys some value. I want to give you guys something that's going to change your life. By you letting me know what you're working on, I can do that more effectively. Is that a deal? Okay. So let's talk about financial abundance. Here's the truth. Your financial situation cannot change until you do. The series of snapshots, the series of present nows that you experience as your life will not change in direction unless you do. The combination of people, places, and things around your financial experience will not change unless you do. But that change cannot happen in a place that doesn't exist. So you jumping to the future and talking about what you're going to do tomorrow and locking yourself there, or you being caught talking about what can't happen because of what happened yesterday, isn't real either. The change can't happen there. The change can only happen here in the now. One of the things I'm going to be empowering you guys with over our time together is my Beyond Intention paradigm. It's a tool that I created to empower you to make these choices that will lead to a different life. And I'm really excited about sharing that with you over the time we're going to have together. And one of the phases of that is recognizing that I have to be present in the now. I have to be aware here in the now in order to affect change, because it's the only place that's real. If we want to make real change, we have to make it in a real place. And the only place that's real is here in the now. So what we're going to be doing is understanding that in order for me to change my experience of the divine matrix, for me to change my experience of my reality, I need to be present, anchored, and available in the place where that change can happen. And from that place, make the choice to make the shift that will create a new experience. Because every shift will equate to new experience, because I can't do the same thing and get a different result, but I can't do something different and get the same result. So those of you who are going to take up my homework offering and make a small change, you will come back to our time together next week a different person. Now, some may say, but I only did this. But here's the thing, the smallest hinges open the biggest doors. These small shifts, that 2 degrees, will take you from the Buenos Aires of poverty, lack, bad relationships and whatnot, into the New York of financial abundance and all that good stuff. And that's what I want for you, and that is available to you. But only if you make the choice to do so and do it in the real place of the now. We're going to be talking over our time together on how to get present enough to make those choices. But if we're running 95% of the time on our unconscious, then doesn't that mean that we're a slave to our unconscious? Not really. What it means is that we have a program running that we're operating on, and that maybe we need to take a look at that. But it doesn't mean that we are tied or locked in a relationship to the trajectory that we're on now. You don't have to keep having the same experience going forward. But it does require a new choice in the now. So if we're getting now enough, we can make new choices. And by making new choices, we can have different outcomes, and we can start experiencing the joyful, abundant, purpose-driven lives that we are worthy of and that we should be receiving, which is exactly what I want for you. But what does that look like? Well, first and foremost, it's important for us to understand a couple of things about the construct of reality. It's important for us to understand a couple of ideas that will support us in stepping into that freedom from the past, that freedom from the hobgoblins of anxiety locking us in an unwanted future. And the first thing is that there is no truth beyond the now. Write that one down. There is no truth beyond the now. None. Absolutely none. Because the future doesn't exist beyond the choices we're making in the present moment. Now, of course, if we're unconscious most of the time, those choices are being made from our unconscious programs. So the same patterns, our trauma, our history, the experiences of the past, the stories of the past, so on and so forth, la di da di da di da. But when we're present enough to make a conscious choice, then we can be present enough to select a future outcome that's aligned with what we want. And we're going to talk about setting intentions and choosing outcomes over our time together. That's one of the things that we're going to be doing, because these things all come together to create our reality. So effectively what we're doing is we're moving through a series of nows, a series of present moments, and making choices consciously and unconsciously about which of those that we're going to experience. But the thing is, for some of us, we're so locked in. Wow, it's crazy. We are so locked in the stories of what's available to us that the unconscious beliefs start to pollute our conscious awareness. And even in that 5% of the time when we're consciously aware, we're still making choices that we would make from an unconscious level. And over our time together, we're going to be learning how to unfold a new space to make choices where we're not a slave to those patterns, because essentially we need to do two things, right? We need to be changing the unconscious pattern and making a conscious choice that aligns with what we desire. And those two together will bring us to a space whereby our unconscious time is spent aligned with what we consciously desire, and our conscious time is spent moving forward and advancing our conscious desire into our reality. And I'm very excited about doing that with you guys over the time that we're going to spend together. Before I hop into doing a visualization with you guys, just to tune in and start listening to your heart, which is going to be a big part in what we're talking about next week. I'd like to acknowledge everybody who's been tuning in and commenting. So Darls from Sydney, thank you. Claire from Melbourne, hey. Trish from Sydney, thanks Claire, appreciate you. Maxine from Jurien Bay, Perth. Oh, that's on the west coast, right? Claire said 100%. I think I know what you're talking about. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Rebecca, thanks for letting me know I'm in the right place. Maxine, thank you for agreeing. Who doesn't like to be agreed with? Darls, I normally fall off my mind shifts. I'll be going good, then my mind just shifts when something doesn't happen in my favor. Well, guess what? We're going to be doing some work on that over the next the next few weeks that we're going to be together. So stay tuned and come back. I'm going to give you some great hacks for completely destroying that pattern and moving beyond it. I find it hard to keep my mind consistent. We'll talk about that too. The mind is a very tricksy thing, but it's a very powerful thing if we direct it properly. Donna, thanks for joining us in from Perth, Western Australia. Donna, thanks for letting me know. Not Kathy, great gift. Keep the gifts coming. I love a cheeky gift. Love it. And again, what I was talking about was micro shifts. Carls, thank you for joining from New Zealand. Hey, hey, hey. Claire Maxine, thank you. I texted a friend this message. Oh, how fabulous. I love a bit of a synchronicity. Maxine, looking forward to hearing more about you speaking to your mum more. That makes me happy. Health, stopping unhealthy addictions. We're going to break free from that, Carls. We're going to do it. We're going to do it because you deserve it. You have the power to do it. And we're going to support you doing that. Rosemary, thank you for joining us from Australia. And Mike, thanks for tuning in from Cali. Amazing. So, without further ado, be ready for this every week, guys. I am going to take you into a visualization. I love doing visualizations. It's a big part of the work I do. If you head over to dreamwithdan.com/free-resources, you can grab some of my free visualizations. These ones I'm going to be doing for you here in this group are live, direct, and exclusive. So make sure you tune into my show every week to get a tune up. If you're operating heavy machinery, responsible for small humans, or driving or anything like that, don't do this. Come back later for the sort of 20 minutes of the show and redo. Feel free to come back to this anytime and redo it. I'd love to hear some feedback from you. on how this is serving you too. I'm really, really excited about it. We're going to tune into our heart. And then next week, we're going to be learning how we can use that as a guide as to what we want to create. So, are we ready, guys? Buckle up. Does anybody need some time before we get started? There's no special position. You don't need to be in lotus. You can lie down. You can sit up. You can just close your eyes. The most important thing is that you are in a space where you can relax. And I don't have any objections. So if you will close your eyes. If you start to just tune into yourself and feel your presence here in the now. If you could start to bring your breath in through your stomach, allowing it to expand, and then moving up into your chest, allowing it to expand, and right there, hold. And as you hold, allow your mind to give you the vision of the number 3 and breathe out. Relax. 3, 3, 3. And just allow your lungs to remain empty. And breathe in again, filling the stomach, filling the chest. Hold. Now see the number 2. Hold. And breathe out. And relax. Number 2. 2. 2. And allow your lungs to remain empty. And breathe in. Once again, filling the stomach. Once again, filling the chest. Allowing your body to become present in the now. Hold. And now allow your mind to reveal to you a beautiful plant or flower. Anyone is just okay, and hold. And breathe out and allow yourself to hear the word relax. 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 And your lungs to remain empty. And breathe in now, allowing yourself to find your own gentle rhythm of breathing in, holding, breathing out and pausing. Notice that it feels really good to just breathe in, noticing the breath filling you up, centering you in the present moment. And then every time you breathe out and relax, you relax and go deeper. And as I count from 10 to 1, I'd like you to notice that. An awareness of the space above your head begins to come to the forefront of your attention, and that you allow that attention to move from 10, the top of your head, 9, passing your forehead, 8, continuing to drop and descend, 7, 6, perhaps passing your nose now, 5, dropping and going deeper, 4, 3, dropping past your shoulders now, 2, presently aware, 1, allow your attention now to settle in the center of your chest, and 0, here, relax, and notice that it's almost as if you'd taken an elevator from the top of your head into the center of your chest. And as you rest your awareness here, notice how good it feels to relax, and holding this presence, connecting with yourself, allowing your breath to continue to flow in, and flow out. Relaxing, going deeper. Pleasantly relaxed. Safe. Aware in this moment and yet relaxed and at peace, and allowing the sound, the rhythm, or the shape of my words to guide you into a space of peace and relaxation as you relax and go deeper, and with your awareness focused here in the center of your chest, your consciousness now present here in the center of your chest. This awareness becoming a tingle that makes itself evident in the center of your chest. Enjoying that now. Notice that tingle becomes a buzz, and that buzz becomes a warmth in the center of your chest. And as you focus on this space in the center of your chest and allow your breath to continue to flow in, to be held in a pause and to flow out and to be held in a pause, and noticing that this provides a pleasant anchor to the present moment here in your body as you, relaxed, aware, here in the center of your chest, lost in the sound, the shape and the rhythm of my words, relaxed as I count from 5 to 1 and invite you to drop and go deeper, present here in the center of your chest as you allow yourself to notice and witness how good it feels to just relax. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. And notice that this sensation in the center of your chest starts to take form and shape and be personified. And by that I mean that the sensation and the shape in the center of your chest, the heart center, the seat of feeling, emotion and connection to the soul space, takes shape and becomes personified and becomes a person before you now. Eyes closed, focused, here safe, aware, conscious, relaxed, present and settled into your breath. Your heart is now a person before you now. Feel the love. Feel the care. Feel the commitment for your highest and greatest good. Notice the radiance. Notice the divinity. Notice yourself here in communion with your heart personified before you now. Notice around you a scene begin to develop. A place where you feel safe, where you feel secure, where you feel happy, at peace and relaxed as you, resting here in this scene with this physical manifestation in your mind's eye of your heart space, personified, relaxed, loved, supported, at peace. And you may notice that your heart space here personified before you has within its hands a gift. And as it opens its hands, that gift is revealed to you now as a symbol. And that this symbol presented to you is a gift, and that this gift is one that you accept lovingly, with arms open. This gift represents a message to you, a message that will become more evident, the meaning of which will become more clear over the next week and our time spent apart. Your heart will communicate to you the meaning of this gift, and you will hear it, accept it, and understand. Your heart loves you, your heart supports you. Your heart intends for you only your highest and greatest good. Your highest ideals and expressions are held for you by your heart space. And this gift, and this desire, and this intention is represented in this gift that you have accepted now. Feeling the warmth and love of your heart now, allow yourself to embrace your heart with the biggest hug, the biggest squeeze, and all of the love in the world. Held and embraced by your heart space now. Knowing that you are supported and you are guided. And that your heart has already gone before you into the ethers and left breadcrumbs for you to follow. Signs guiding you to living a more abundant, joyful, purpose-driven life. And as I count from 1 to 5, and invite you to return back to an outer state of waking consciousness, that you carry this feeling of loving support with you, that you carry with you this knowing that your heart space loves, cares, protects for you and wants only your best, that it guides and supports you, and that this gift, this symbol, this token, and its meaning will be revealed to you at the perfect time in the perfect way. 1, 2, beginning to feel your body now. 3, stepping into an outer state of waking consciousness. 4, feeling really, really good. 5, feeling wide awake, in perfect health and better than before. Open your eyes. Come back to the now, ready to experience all the goodness that life has for you. Open your eyes, guys. Come back to me. Yay. So I'd like you to carry this truth and this experience of a connection with your heart over this week. I'd like you to honor the commitment that you've made to yourself to do your small thing consistently every day. I'd love to hear from you on how this is going on. Again, my website is dreamwithdan.com. I'm on social media as Dreamer CEO, Dreamer, DREAMER CEO on Instagram and Twitter. I'd love for you to join me next week and tell your friends. Bring a friend. It would mean the world to me. We're going to be going deeper into this next week and starting to unpack this journey through the divine matrix and what it means to live a life beyond magic. I'd like to offer you the opportunity to take a gift from me. We've spoken about universal law today. I've actually done a series of videos all about universal laws. They're pretty cool. If you go to dreamwithdan.com/laws, LAWS laws, then that'll give you some videos I've made about universal law that are pretty darn cool and I think will serve and support you. I'd love to hear from you about that too, and feel free to share that link with others. I'm here to give. I want you guys to be served at the highest level. So I'm going to sign off now. It's 6:30 in the evening for me. I've got a pregnant wife to go and make sure is fed. Guys, it's been my first time here. Let me know how this was for you, what we can do to make this better for you, what you'd like to hear more of as we go along. I'm really excited for this journey. Like I said, next week we're going to talk about the heart space, listening to the heart and communicating with our higher self and understanding how we can start to get messages to support us setting intentions that put us on the direction of living a more abundant, joyful, purpose-driven life in this crazy thing we call the divine matrix. Once again, I'm Dan Mangena. It's been an absolute bloody pleasure spending time with you today. I'm looking forward to doing so every week. Again, please do check out dreamwithdan.com. Connect with me. Love to do that and get to know some of you. And let's see if we can't get you guys leveled up in what we do with this thing called life. So until then, my phrase is to keep dreaming with your eyes open. Oh, can you see it? Yeah. And remember that you can consciously choose a more abundant, joyful, purpose-driven life. Bye for now.